Cool. Be great.
You already know. Be great. You already know. Be great. You already know.
Welcome to class. It's Word Up Wednesday. We believe whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. I'm Professor Miles, and let's go the distance. So today, I'm pretty excited to talk to you because I talked about building a home with Habitat for Humanity 2 weeks ago when I was on my alternative spring break trip. That was awesome, right? But we talked about basically, everything matters. The walls, the nails, how we build our home, how we build our foundation. How we build our foundation, how we build our home, it builds us and makes us who we are. After that happens, I talked about family, right? Because a house is a structure, but a family is what makes it come together. What happens on the inside, that's your experiences. So I drew a house here, right, in your home, because it's your family and your home where you get your values, your priorities, and what you practice, right? Who you are is who you practice. Now think about that, because that usually tells us who you are when you come to school. You're a representation of your family, you're a representation of your home. So the values that you have depict the actions that you have. The priorities that you have determine your preferences once you come to school, right? And you have your practice is what you do in the games. That's your performance, right? So if you don't study at home, practicing, right, homework, then you're probably not going to do well on the test. And whatever your parents' priorities are about you going to school, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be blah, blah, blah. That's probably going to be your preference and what you're trying to study and your major and your choices at that point. And your values, what your parents say is you must do, whether it's praying before you eat, whether it's wiping your mouth as you're eating food, or whether it's using a fork and a knife. Like, those are just simple values that people want to put in you, and you're going to see those in your actions.
Look, when I talk about family values and how that comes into school, understand that one of my family values was self-violence. Right? When I say self-violence, I mean that includes everything. So we're talking about abuse, we're talking about drugs, we're talking about gang violence, we're talking about physical, mental, and spiritual warfare. Self against self, and I'm not distant from that. Like, this is my family. I have the same last name, the same blood. I'm growing up in the same household, so I also had to practice self-violence and didn't realize it was called self-violence. And I see it so many times in college communities where students come to school and they continue that self-violence that they learned at home or learned in their community. Right, so think about it. I think the most obvious one is probably alcoholism, and becoming alcoholics. And we call it fun, turn up. But think about it, like, people are chasing blackouts. People are running away from stress, and they're just drinking it away. That's self-violence. You're hurting yourself. When you turn 60, 80 years old, you have that stroke, you don't never recover from the stroke. I have a grandma, and I've never seen her not be in a hospital bed. Like, my grandma died. She died from alcoholism. She had a stroke, and she never recovered from it. And how many habits and values are we perpetuating here at school? How many are we learning at school and taking it home? At some point in time, you got to break the cycle, and you have to reestablish new values. In your own home. And your first home is not a physical place where you take your body. Your first home is here. Your first home is here. Values, man. And that's, so, what do you want to start doing at home? I want you to write that down. Write down the values, your top 3 values that you want to live. So that when people see you, they say those values when they see you. And even if they don't see it, that you see it in yourself when you look in the mirror.
Now, why it's important for you to become a great student? It's important because you have to understand and be able to reassess your actions based upon your values and understand the correlation between the two. What you do in practice is what you will do in the game. Life is the game. What you do at home is practice. So understand and be able to assess your values. You see my values and what I do as far as family. We speak about our troubles and our trials and our tribulations at home in my family, and that allows us to be more open and vulnerable and honest with people beyond our home. That's just an example. But look at life be life, and make life what you want it to be. I'm Professor Miles, and we're going the distance. It's Word Up Wednesday. We believe whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. I'm Professor Miles.
Learn to live, you learn to hurt. Increase the wealth of my mind. Increase the wealth of my mind. Increase the wealth of my soul. That always been my goal. Go distance, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard. Hard work is easy. Just watch, believe me. Hard work is easy. Just watch, believe me. I said hard work is easy. Just watch, believe me.